I, 23F, met my boyfriend's 25M, work wife, for the first time and I'm devastated. So, throw away account because this is pretty personal drama and I don't want all my friends knowing about this just yet. I have been with my boyfriend for 5 years now, and he's been at his current job for a few years. We will call him Jake. I've never met any of his co-workers until last night, but there's one in particular who we will call Amy. He sometimes does favors for her, fixing her car, going to her house to fix stuff around her house, etc., and I was never really concerned because he told me all his co-workers are a lot older than him. However, one night while he was asleep his guy friend kept blowing up his phone, so I answered to let him know Jake was sleeping, and so was I, so please stop calling. Anyways, before I put the phone down I noticed 5 unread text notifications from Amy. I guess some of the spam notifications were from her. One of them said, "Great Jake, now everyone thinks we are fucking," face with tears of joy. This really concerned me. So, the next day after Jake got home from work I asked about it. He said that both him and Amy were late for work that morning, so everyone probably assumed that, and it was just a joke. I thought it was a weirdly unprofessional joke, and expressed my discomfort. He invited me to the bar with him and his co-workers that night, so I could meet her and see it was nothing to worry about. It did not soothe my nerves at all. Turns out Amy is not a lot older than him. She's only 3 years older, and super pretty. The entire night she was all over him, touching him, leaning on him, putting his arms around him, and even kissed him on the cheek, and he acted like it was normal. They were constantly teasing each other, in that middle schooler who doesn't know how to properly flirt yet kind of way. She told me all about how she loves him like a brother, and also told me she's had sex with half of their other co-workers, and that she got the next morning off work because she sent a co-worker nudes to get him to cover for her. Later on she started crying and sobbing at the bar, actual tears, because she's so lonely and wants someone to love her, and my boyfriend ended up having to comfort her. I am just unsure what to do or say. My boyfriend kept acting like this was normal, that he wasn't doing anything wrong by entertaining this behavior. I can't ask him to cut her off. They're on the same unit, and they have to work together. I literally do not know what to do about this, but I'm just disgusted knowing this has been going on these years that he's worked with her. How can I set boundaries when they're forced to be around each other all the time at work? You just tell him what's okay and what's not okay. If he can't respect that, then he's not for you. Your gut is working. None of that is normal coworker behavior, and it's okay to be disturbed. One small step. Calmly tell him you need a firm boundary like no touching/kisses, no outside of work favors, and see if he actually respects that. Stuff like this, in my opinion, is not even worth the effort to fix. Your boyfriend is entertaining another woman but hiding behind the "what? We're just friends, she's like sister but is all over me kissing my cheek" card. Why be with someone who you need to babysit and correct about for what looks like a clear affair? Impossible for me to believe your boyfriend isn't into her himself. If my man ever referred to someone as his work wife, that would be the end of it for me. Luckily, he'd never do that because he respects me. Your boyfriend is disrespecting you. Your boyfriend cares for his work wife. I just hate that term. More than you. The way they acted, touched in front of, and your boyfriend sees nothing wrong. I think you have underreacted. Ask the question, did I he worth it? Bro, this is actually fucking unreal. Loudly crying face, loudly crying face. Husband, M40. Doesn't want to change the way he communicates with me, F30. I want to ask for advice on how to explain to my husband that I don't like to hear criticism about my cooking. My husband's dad had a habit of criticizing his wife if the food was bad that day. I think my husband picked this up from his dad. My cooking is not always perfect, but I really don't like to hear criticism about my cooking. We have a busy life, family with a toddler, no help from both families. I also work full-time. So yes, someday, I have no energy to cook, and my foods might come out not so well. But I expect understanding from my husband, and if he wants to make a comment, I want to hear a constructive comment. Not like, your food is dry as a rock. Why are you serving us rocks? Why are you torturing us with your foods? I said to him, multiple times, that I don't like his way of giving comments. It hurts my feelings. But he refuses to even try. He said he did not insult me, so I should not say that I feel hurt, and that I am just trying to manipulating him. To be honest, hearing him saying this hurts me even more. To me, it means my feelings mean nothing to him. And it made me thinking about splitting up, because I don't want my son to pick up this habit from my husband. TIA for your advices. I wouldn't make this fucker a slice of toast. How often does this jackass do the cooking? Tell him that he is turning into his dad, and that every day he complains, he cooks the next day. And don't back down. Someone is going to end up blindsided and say, I don't know why she left me, it came out of nowhere. If he doesn't like the cooking and can't communicate in a respectful way, sounds like it's time for him to get in the kitchen. It's not hard to be respectful to your spouse. Long story short, you married an AH. Insults your cooking. You tell him you don't like those comments, but he doubles down on it. And somehow you're the one manipulating him for defending yourself against his asshole comments. Please divorce this man. He sounds insufferable. Looks like it runs in the family. Turned out just like his prick of a father. I bet his mom is happily married face with rolling eyes. I'm 37F, selling my house. My partner, 35M, cannot get on board and it's causing huge issues. Too long did not read. Partner refuses to go along with the plan to sell, nor to buy it himself, but I am set on selling and the house is fully mine, unsure how to proceed without a blow-up. It's a 6-acre homestead about 15-20 million outside the nearest town, on a main road that is too busy to safely walk. I bought the house in 2021 for $221,000 and anticipate selling for $375,000. 2.5% mortgage, $120,000 remaining. We have one 8 years old and a baby due in May. It's rural AF, we have few neighbors, and they're mostly retirees, so no kids to play with, no parents to befriend. I just view the place as an investment, and it's time to sell. I've been actively talking about selling since spring, and even bought a property up north right across the street from my childhood home, 2 hours away, for a future primary or secondary home. Partner loves the distance and isolation here. I loathe it. Some things I dislike about the house could be changed, could parcel off the 4 useless acres of it that we mow and rake, and I pay property taxes on needlessly. He could run the kiddos back and forth into town twice for school each day, instead of me doing it. But some can't, like the distance into town and the general isolation. Just had to cancel plans for today, yet again due to winter road conditions an issue we'd never have living in town. The home is just amazing and gorgeous, and that's part of the problem. Neither of us is handy at all, and every little problem either never gets fixed, or has to be hired out, and that's not tenable at all. We will ruin this place's current high value and ROI unless I sell it quick. He says he will learn to be more handy, but it doesn't happen. He's ruined 3 riding mowers, and we don't know how to fix them. He paid for 2 to be fixed already and broke them again. There's a tree half down in our front yard from 3 days ago that he insists he'd take care of, but we don't own a big enough chainsaw, so it sits. See the pattern? I'd so much rather have a plain Jane home with a modest backyard that I can push, mow, and rake in one day. Neighbor kids to play with. Parents to befriend. Locals to hire for odd jobs. To just go take a safe walk, run, or bike ride down the road. Plus, I'd like to sell before needing to replace water heater, furnace, roof, etc. Each year here is a year closer to needing something expensive done. Anytime I bring up selling, it causes tension and arguments. I've offered to sell it to him at a lesser price than market since he loves it so much, but I think he fears I'll then be able to leave too easily to that property up north once built, as I work from home and can go anywhere and have a MS. Job-wise, he hit the proverbial jackpot at a local casino, making money he'd never make with just a HS diploma anywhere else, and so won't leave the area, plus his family is here. I've found places in town near them to purchase instead, but none of them fit his criteria, like this home, several acres, several outbuildings, scant neighbors, etc. He has never owned a home himself, and I think the debt feels too scary too. I could sell this place, buy a modest home in town outright with the proceeds, and be a paid-off homeowner well before age 40. What stability and reassurance that would be in current and future tumultuous economic times. That's the American dream to me. I made it clear I'm not going to change my mind, calling my awesome realtor with whom I bought this place this weekend, but anticipating a new level of fighting. His name is nowhere on the deed nor mortgage. He's got no lease here, and I get very little money from him towards expenses, though we make about the same $80,000 per year. So he has no legal nor financial claim here in MI. When I sold my last home in 2021, I wrote him a personal check for a huge chunk of the proceeds, as his share of equity. So it's not like he never personally sees the benefits of selling, either. Do I just say buy up or shut up? LOL, partner is in love with the idea of homesteading, can't be a good homesteader, and doesn't act like a partner, but rather like a toddler. Super frustrating. What a shit show. Dude, I have the perfect solution. Sell your place to this lady's idiot partner, so they can both play Little House on the Prairie together until they need amoxicillin or friends. Why would he want to sell? He's getting all the benefits of living isolated. You're doing most of the mental and physical labor of living so far out plus paying the dollar, without any of the responsibilities. Are you also the one running to town for groceries/errands/kids apps? Personally, I'd start putting the responsibility of going into town all on him, so he can start to realize the benefits of moving. You paid him equity on house he doesn't own? I'd just move to your new home that you own outright, and leave him to figure out where he's going to live on his own. Do this before he tries to claim half of what you own as his own. This situation is not good. It sounds like he is using you like a homosexual would. He likes the home, but doesn't like to pay for his share of. On the contrary, he actually got paid equity for a home he didn't put any money or even sweat equity into. You guys are not married. Do what you want. If he wants to buy a house in the middle of nowhere, let him. Otherwise, if you allow him, he can move in with you. Continue to keep him off the mortgage. He's a loser, and your house is his free housing. He contributes nothing financially to your living expenses, is inept at maintaining the property, and doesn't want the responsibility of owning the place. He doesn't want you to sell because then you could leave easily. Why did you have children with this man? Sounds like you got baby trapped by a homosexual. Lost all intimacy with my 42F husband, 39M, due to vasectomy stalemate. My husband, 39M, and I, 42F, have been together for 10 years and married for nearly 8. We have 2 children ages 4 and 7. We've had a dead bedroom for over 2 years due to his refusal to get a vasectomy after I had 6 pregnancies in 7 years, resulting in 2 live births, 3 miscarriages, and an abortion. I'm not sure how to move forward after everything has happened, and am looking for advice or various perspectives as to what I should do moving forward. A brief history of the 6 pregnancies that I had over a 7-year period, some accidental and some intentional. 2016, accidental pregnancy resulting in a missed miscarriage and a DNC procedure. Early 2019, the birth of our first child, intentional pregnancy. Late 2020, natural miscarriage of an intentional pregnancy. I bled out alone while taking care of our 2-year-old while husband was on a work trip. Early 2021, missed miscarriage of an intentional pregnancy, resulting in another DNC procedure. Early 2022, the birth of our second child, intentional pregnancy. Mid-2023, abortion of an accidental pregnancy. I asked my husband to get a vasectomy after the birth of our second child, as I had already had 3 miscarriages, 2 surgeries, and 2 difficult pregnancies and postpartums, and we both knew we were done wanting children. I was particularly adamant that I was under no circumstances going to have a 3rd child. I had previously been on birth control pills for over 15 years prior to meeting my husband, and no longer wanted to use that as a form birth control. I considered getting a tubal removal, but because a vasectomy would be much less invasive, and also considering all that I had been through with past pregnancies and miscarriages, I felt that it was my husband's turn to take control of our reproductive health. He refused the vasectomy. I was disappointed, but also respected his decision. I expressed to him that if there were to be an accidental pregnancy in the future, I would not hesitate to get an abortion, as there was no possibility that I was going to have a 3rd child, but that I would really like to avoid that from happening. We stupidly used an ovulation tracking app and the pull-out method, resulting in me getting pregnant accidentally when our second child was 15 months old. I had an abortion. Although I was confident in my decision to have the abortion, and still am, I was not prepared for the amount of guilt, shame, and anger at both myself and my husband that I would feel afterwards. I again begged my husband to get a vasectomy and told him that I would not be having sex until he did so, because I was having a difficult time in the aftermath of the abortion and was never going to allow that to happen again. He agreed to do it, but made no effort to make the appointment. About a month after the abortion, he tried to initiate sex with me, and I reminded him of what I had said before. He then made the appointment, or at least claimed to, which he said was booked out for 3 months. In that time period, I stuck with my boundary of not having sex, but I did do other forms of foreplay as I trusted that he was going to get the vasectomy. In the 2 weeks leading up to his appointment, I casually asked him 3-4 times, something along the lines of, "When is your appointment again?" And he would respond, "Oh, I think it's next Wednesday at 2, always prefacing with, "I think." I asked him if he needed to be dropped off or picked up the day of. We are a single-car family, and he insisted he was fine taking an Uber. Well, Wednesday at 2 comes around, and I arrive home with the kids to see him sitting in his home office working. He claimed to have either forgotten the appointment or that he got too busy at work to go. This is over 2 years ago now, so I can't remember which. I was in disbelief and told him that he should have booked the day off work when he made the appointment 3 months prior, and should have had an alert set on his calendar. In addition, I had reminded him of the appointment 3-4 times in the weeks leading up to it. He said he would rebook. 2 years passed, and he did not rebook the appointment. I would regularly ask him if he intended on doing so, and he would always make excuses and string me along saying that he was going to do it soon, but couldn't because of XYZ nonsensical excuse. He never once had a heart-to-heart expressing that he really didn't want to do it, or any fears that he had about it. He just continued to avoid the topic, or make excuses when I would bring it up. It wasn't until we were 2 years into a sexlessness marriage, and had lost all intimacy and emotional connection, that I asked him how he thought our marriage could survive this way. I also told him that I was no longer going to bring up the topic, as I was tired of continually nagging him about it, but that my position had not changed regarding sex and putting myself at risk of another pregnancy. He pretty much sat there silently, and did not have much of anything to say about the topic. A couple months later he tried to initiate sex with me, and when I wasn't reciprocating he casually said, "I told you I have that appointment booked, right?" I told him, "No, you have not informed me of that, nor have you said anything about the intention of doing so after the last time I had brought up the subject." He said, "Well, I have the appointment." I asked when it was, and again it was a vague, "I think it's like month from now." I told him to come back to me after he had it done, because after the whole debacle of the last missed appointment and the subsequent 2-year wait, I would believe it when it was done. I also reminded him that he would need to get cleared after 3 months, and that I would not feel at ease until then. He got the vasectomy a month later, 2 years and 1 month to the date of when I had the abortion. I'm trusting that he did in fact do it, although he again insisted that I didn't need to drop him off or pick him up even though I offered, so I only have his word that he did do it. It has now been 7 months since the procedure, and he has not done the 3-month follow-up sperm count check despite my constant reminders and insistence that he do so. He said he was checked at 2 weeks, and they told him he just had to ejaculate approximately 40 times, and it wasn't necessary to get checked again at 3 months. This is contrary to everything I have read online or been told by doctors. I have repeatedly asked him to get the follow-up for my peace of mind, and he continues to make excuses. We have had sex a handful of times since the vasectomy, mostly because I believed he was going to get the follow-up, but I no longer believe that he has the intention of doing so, and I am once again tired of nagging him about it, and am feeling increasingly at unease about having sexual intercourse. I had plans to get a tubal removal this week, but then found out that I would have to pay 25%, or $3,500 out of pocket, and we cannot afford it. I am now considering getting on birth control. My marriage has been destroyed in this process. All trust, intimacy, and emotional connection have been lost. He has made no attempt to fix it, or to initiate a conversation about what has happened. I am terrified of another pregnancy, and am unwilling to risk it. I feel he has no regard for everything my body and soul has been through, and at this point I wouldn't feel the desire to be mate with him, even if he were to get cleared. Where can I go from here? Can this situation be fixed, and is it worth fixing? I would also lose all respect and attraction I had for this person if I was in your position. Yeah, I don't see how you have sex with a man who has repeatedly lied to you about getting a vasectomy and whom you don't really believe about it even now. He knows what a pregnancy would do to you, physically and emotionally, and doesn't give the slightest fuck. Did you even see an incision? Did he ice? Was he doing anything to actually indicate he had the procedure? I would absolutely check the insurance records to confirm a procedure was booked. But ultimately, there's no coming back from this in my mind. At least not without a pile of counseling. And frankly, I think he lied to you about the first appointment to coerce you into sex. He tried to do it again, and I don't think he's had a vasectomy at all. He's not had the vasectomy, and he doesn't care about your mental or physical health. Love cannot survive here. I'm going to be very blunt here. Where can I go from here? Divorce. Can this situation be fixed? No. Is it worth fixing? No. If need be, I'll list why, but you already know. I'm sorry that your husband has treated you like a worthless object for so long. You can try couples counseling, but you basically have no trust in him. With good reason, he's lied to you and betrayed that trust repeatedly. He also makes zero attempts to earn back your trust. You can't fix a relationship on your own, and he has shown no effort to fix this relationship. I'm sorry. I don't see a path forward with a habitual liar. He's lying to you. Ask to see his doctor together so they can answer your questions regarding his post-procedure testing.